From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell. Hey sports fans, are you ready for an exhilarating gaming experience? Introducing VIPClub.lv, your ultimate online sportsbook and casino. VIPClub.lv offers a vast selection of sports, from football and basketball to tennis and baseball. Bet on your favorite teams and enjoy the thrill of the game. But that's not all. Our state-of-the-art online casino offers a dazzling array of games, including slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer tables. Win big with their fantastic promotions, rewards, and exclusive offers. Join VIPClub.lv today and get a generous 100% match welcome bonus to start your winning streak. Make sure to use code ECSI at sign-up. Bet it, win it, and cash it at VIPClub.lv. Visit VIPClub.lv now and play responsibly. VIPClub.lv, your sportsbook and casino extravaganza. Must be 21 or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Visit gambleware.org for help. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all of your sports books and track all of your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You can also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as they're the best account on the platform. Head to the App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire to download the app.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans from all around the globe. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell, getting it up and out of here early today with plenty of things going on this afternoon and no other shows prior to the usual start time. So we're getting up and out of here early. As you can see, it's going to be a solo show from myself, getting things up and running in time for some Monday action tonight in the college hoops and NBA world. Only a couple college games that we'll talk about here. As far as this past weekend, obviously, congrats to both the Chiefs and the 49ers for heading to the Super Bowl for a rematch of a few years ago. Obviously, anyone who was interested or had any Ravens futures, obviously, bummed about the way that one turned out. Obviously, Zay Flowers is not your favorite person right now, if that's the angle that you were taking there. But the Ravens, I assume, will be back. Curious to see if McDonald, their defensive coordinator, gets poached anywhere. He had some interest, obviously. Not to mention the other game, obviously, Detroit and the Niners. Detroit just I can't put up any points up until, obviously, that late push there at the end. The field goal 4th and 3 decision later in the game, obviously, going to be scrutinized for a while. Obviously, I think anyone who's been paying attention to Dan Campbell is not so shocked that he did that, and I agree with him trying to ride by his, rest on his laurels for the most part there. Kind of went away from it at the beginning or at the end of the first half to go up by 17. I think you realize how big that was, and I think you should realize if you haven't scored any points up until that point and you got a chance to even the score and prevent yourself from going down 2 scores like they did, you got to think about taking it. So, gonna live and die by his decisions, obviously, and the gunslinger coach mentality, if you will. So credit to them for obviously having one of the best seasons they've had in 70 years or whatever it is now. Ben Johnson, speaking of coordinators now, linked to Washington as well. So curious to see if he gets out of there as a fan of a rival NFC North team. I would love to see Ben Johnson out of town and not running that offense because obviously it was very successful this year, very successful in that first half against the Niners, and then obviously the wheels fell off there. So I don't think they're going to make too many changes. Obviously, if Ben Johnson is gone, they're going to have to figure something else out at offensive coordinator, but should have a lot of the same team coming back next year, reared and ready to go. And obviously the NFC North in an interesting spot. You're going to have the Packers with a little more experience next year. The Vikings, not sure what direction they go when Kirk Cousins, if he's back with the Vikings, when he's going to be healthy, and obviously what the Bears do at their quarterback position. So a lot of questions to be answered there. And then obviously we've got a week and a half or so that we'll have plenty of Super Bowl talk. So I won't bore anybody with that just yet. Although it looked like the early numbers are close to a pick 'em. Niners -1 from what I saw so far over the last 24 hours. I don't know what the actual opening number, if that was it. If it's changed already since then, I didn't see what the official opening number was if it wasn't that. But obviously the Niners -1 is the look that we're getting right now at the 47.5. So we'll have plenty of time to dissect that. Outside of that, before we get into tonight's other news around the sports world, off the top of my head, I know Tyrrell Hatton in the golf world, for anyone that's golf fans, is going to the LIV, another European guy heading to the LIV Tour. Got not as much guaranteed money as some of these other guys, so that was a little interesting, but still obviously 50, 60 million, whatever he got, plenty of cash to get him wooed over to the other side there, and now it's kind of shaping up to be a lot of these European guys making the jump. I think a lot of these American golfers that we've seen, JT, Spieth, Ricky, a lot of these guys will probably stick around, and a lot of these European guys will make the jump. And I think with the exception of Rory and maybe one or two other guys off the top of my head, we might have ourselves kind of a almost obviously there's some very good American golfers over on the LIV Tour, but almost kind of a close to the core of each Ryder Cup teams on each side of it, and that would obviously make the Ryder Cup that much more interesting once we get there in a year and a half or so. So I'm excited. Obviously, I want whatever's best for the golf world. I hope this is trending in the right direction, and we'll have a more cohesive product as opposed to torn apart. Because I do like my golf, but I'm not a diehard fan to where I'm watching two different leagues every single weekend, if I'm being totally honest with you. So. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment. So I'm curious to see where it goes here, obviously trying to get that deal finalized and whatnot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on through this Monday slate, and then I'll go ahead and get on out of here. I mentioned there is a good NBA slate tonight. College basketball, really only, obviously, unless you're a mid-major junkie, really only a couple games worth talking about. One ACC game, Duke and Virginia Tech. That one is actually in Virginia Tech, and Duke survives Clemson this past weekend at home. A little scare from Clemson there. Virginia Tech 3 in a row at NC State, home for Boston College and home for Georgia Tech. Nothing too crazy there. Nice road win, obviously, at NC State, whereas Duke still taking care of business as of right now. Number 12 team in the country. I don't know if that's updated with this week's ranking or if that's still after what we just had this past weekend. I want to say that's maybe still old, and they might be a top 10 team now. But anyways, you might be wondering why this number is as short as it is with Duke team. This is not a bad Virginia Tech team. It's going to be a team that's probably on the bubble of being an NCAA tournament team. Obviously, the home team in this situation. Going back to last year, these two actually split home and away. Duke wins their home game. Virginia Tech 2.5-point favorites in that game. Obviously, not quite as strong of a Duke team as we have now. But the other factor to make note of, I don't have a strong play on this one. I would just say the main thing that you should be aware of in this game is that Duke's upcoming game is this Saturday at North Carolina, at Chapel Hill. So obviously it's a spot where maybe they're looking ahead to this game against North Carolina. That is, along with obviously whatever their other game against North Carolina is going to be, I think, the very end of the season once they're back at home. Obviously is one of, if not arguably, their two biggest games of the season. So they absolutely could be looking past Virginia Tech, whereas Virginia Tech, this would be, one of the crown jewels of their season if they were able to pull this win off here. They don't have too many other, really eye-popping wins on their resume yet, aside from Iowa State earlier in the season in non-conference play in around Thanksgiving time. So that's obviously looking really good now, but that's about it. Kind of got the doors beat off of them by FAU and Auburn. And they're kind of just ho-hum for the most part here in 5-4 in ACC play. So if they could get this one under their belt, then this is going to go a long way for them actually putting together a legitimate tournament resume here. If they lose, I'm not saying they're done, but that might be why you're seeing a 3.5. Obviously, the average person pulls that up and is probably flooding towards Duke. I'm kind of seeing this one as a kind of one of our pros and Joes situation here, though. The spot that I'm looking at is 70% of the bets on Duke, but 70% of the money on Virginia Tech. So you've got the average person obviously seeing, and like I said, I should have checked to see if the new rankings. Actually, yes, Duke is number 7 now. Obviously, we use AP to kind of tell the story. That's not the we don't use that to tell that's, not saying that Duke is the 7th best team. That is just they've elevated to that. So the status of them in the average person's eyes is obviously pretty damn high as a top 10 team up against what the average person would see as a Virginia Tech team that they probably haven't watched at all this season if you're talking about the average person. So then you have the pros with that. And not only Virginia Tech being an average or above average team here potentially, but with Duke potentially looking ahead to North Carolina this weekend. So I am saying maybe Duke could be on upset watch tonight. Wouldn't shock me if they ended up taking care of business. But you should at least be aware of it and know that story before you pull up your Monday action. You see Duke on your card as a short favorite here, even on the road here in the ACC. So definitely want to be aware of Duke. Look at it a little deeper if you really want to take Duke. But I'm saying maybe back off a little bit here, and this could be a night where Virginia Tech is storming the court at the end of the night. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you should at least be a little wary of Duke in that situation, just having known all those factors there. The other game, a little bit of a different case here, but with a team in Texas that obviously people have probably seen a little bit more of and maybe have a little more respect for than a Virginia Tech. But you've got Houston in Texas. Houston, number 4 team now per the AP. I believe number 1 per KenPom. At Texas. Texas, I want to say 36 per KenPom if I'm not mistaken. 14-6. Almost, I say sort of a similar situation to that other game because Houston versus Texas, maybe they're not overlooking Texas at all. But Houston does this upcoming weekend have they have to go to Kansas, another top 10 team in the country right now. Could potentially be looking past Texas at least a little bit, kind of licking their chops, trying to get that one as a huge win for the Big 12 schedule, obviously. Kansas more of a factor in the top of the standings in the Big 12 than this Texas team is, but obviously Texas is no one to slouch at. But you've got Houston 5-2 in conference, only team ahead of them. Texas Tech actually 5-1, and they're tied with Iowa State at 5-2. Texas 3-4, so not really the same type of factor that you would have Houston. You should still say it's a bigger game for them to win in Kansas than it is here at Texas. Not saying they can't get it done or don't want to get it done, but they could be looking ahead, and that's another reason why you might be seeing this one and saying, why is Houston such a short favorite here? Texas, obviously, a tough home environment to play in here. Texas does play at a lot higher tempo. You're seeing a 130.5 total. This is kind of right around where Houston is. Typically, it's in the mid 130s or higher whenever that's kind of their statement to the over type situation. Texas obviously plays quite a bit higher than that. The way that I'm looking at this game here and saying, how can I kind of back off of Houston a little bit? I'm interested in the team total under for Houston, 67.5. You look over, not only obviously do you have what some believe is the best team in the country, but you have a Houston team that 3 of their last 4, 74+ in their own points column here, whereas Texas allowing 73+ in 3 of their last 4 as well here. So you have a 67.5 number that seems like it should be easy to get over, but I'm kind of calling fishy on that. And at the very least, I'm kind of leaning towards the under on the game in general, but it wouldn't surprise me if Texas, has an inspired performance tonight and takes care of business. But I do Houston could go under 67.5 and still win this game. That's how good their defense is. So I don't want to jump too deep into, believing in Texas here because it would not shock me if Houston's defense holds them to 52 and they win 62-52 or something like that, and they manage to cover kind of handily here. But I do think Texas defense is at least going to be kind of energized here at home and give them some problems. So leaning towards 67.5, under 67.5 for Houston. I believe I'm going to have that one on my card tonight. And that'll be the only game that I'm actually playing in college basketball tonight. So that is it for the 2 in the college hoop spots there. A handful of games to talk about here in NBA, or at least a handful that I wanted to mention here. First one up, one of the first couple of the evening here. 6 my time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Clippers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs actually home dogs in this one. Both these teams actually playing two of the hotter teams in the NBA, honestly, here. The Clippers, 5 or 6 in a row in the win column straight here. Cavs, not the same winning streak, but I believe they've won 9 of their last 10. They lost a few days ago here, Wednesday or Thursday of last week to Milwaukee. Bounced back over the weekend and avenged that loss, or maybe that was Friday night. Clippers, obviously, like I said, 5 or 6 in a row. Some really nice wins. Get a win a couple days ago at Boston as 7-point dogs, so a big one there. And these two teams have not played each other yet. What I'm seeing in this one, despite obviously the Cavs, the home team, and both these teams playing hot, I saw quite a bit of people interested in the Clippers at this short number. Obviously, the bigger star power on paper here. So I'm probably not playing this one tonight. But I would have liked to see the Clippers with the win streak that they're starting to put together. Knowing that even that is a short favorite, even on the road here, that they're probably going to get a lot of money. Would have respected a little bit more than 1.5 here, even with the Cavs as the home team, as a solid team here. So Clippers ascending only a game back of OKC and Minnesota for the 1/2. They're tied for the 1 and 2 there. Only one game back, so starting to get a little bit more of the average, the public love from the average person, whereas the Cavs, like I said, still playing great ball, but I think 5th or 6th in the East, something like that, so not making the same storm in the East that the Clippers are in the West there. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Cavs to take their business at home here tonight. So a little bit of lean, not putting this one in my card, but at least want you to be aware of the Clippers, who obviously, like I said, 6 games in a row as short favorites here. The other one to mention here, a team that is going the opposite way, Phoenix and Miami. Miami either 5 or 6 in the loss column in a row here. At home against the Phoenix Suns, who had been playing really good ball, lost their last 2 over the weekend, and then the end of the week last week at Indy, at Orlando. So this will be game number 4 on a little road trip here. But the Miami Heat, like I said, 5 or 6 in a row in the loss column. Offense not playing well at all here. This is one that I am interested in. I do think the Heat wake up and win this one. I would have been more interested, especially with the Suns, who on paper and record-wise are a better team than the Heat. Coming in with the Heat on a 5-6 game losing streak, even at home here. The average person and the splits suggested as well is going to be flocking to the Suns here at this underdog spot. I kind of lean towards the Heat. The one spot that I am definitely playing tonight that I am more confident in, with the Heat on a real stretch of not only losing but also offensively flying under their team totals. This one, their team total tonight, 116.5. The last 5 games, 110. Haven't cracked 110. So I see the kind of a statement to this Miami offense. Could Phoenix put up a boatload of points and win and cover this game, and Miami's offense still looks fine? Yeah, that's kind of why I'm interested in the team total as opposed to the Heat themselves here. So I'm going to the Miami team total over. I think this offense gets out of this slump that they've been in here. A little bit of a statement for them here tonight as far as offensively. I think Terry Rozier is in the building. I think they'll work him in a little bit. Could give them a little spark there. Don't think he's going to be in the way too much here. I don't think he's going to try and be the hero, play hero ball necessarily. Just kind of make himself fit into the system a little bit, take some shots when necessary and when they're open. So I'm going to go to Miami Heat team total over 116.5 out of that one tonight. I think the last one that I wanted to talk about, and then I'll go ahead and get on out of here. I mentioned these two teams are tied at the top of the West right now, Minnesota and OKC. One of them will be in sole possession of that 1 seed after tonight. They are opposing each other in OKC tonight. OKC 2.5-point favorites here at home. Both teams 32-14. Is it interesting? I would have expected this Thunder team as the home team with these two teams as identical records. Thunder, they did just lose to Detroit last night, though. So this is the second night of a back-to-back, and they just lost to Detroit last night. So you would expect them maybe to come home hungry for a bounce back after what you might consider an embarrassing loss. Even with those factors and the back-to-back factor, I still would have respected this one at least 3.5 as opposed to this 2.5 where, you have a Thunder team who's very successful at home, 16-6 to the spread, and we're only getting a 2.5-point spread. Not a ton of respect to them at home here. They've had plenty of other spreads that have been significantly higher than this. These two teams actually just played in Minnesota about a week plus ago as OKC, as similar, kind of the situation flipped. and OKC wins it by 5. They just played December 26th. OKC wins that one by 23. So I would respect this one really if OKC was 3.5-point favorite. So I'm not really respecting the Thunder here tonight, and I'm absolutely leaning towards this Minnesota team to wake up and get their lick back against this Thunder team after the last couple times so far in this season. So this one, I did not give me any enough respect for OKC here to be interested in them. So I am flocking to the or leaning towards the Thunder, or lean towards the Minnesota Timberwolves to take down the OKC Thunder on the road here tonight. That is going to be it for me. This Lakers game, Houston game could be a good one, but again, you've got LeBron and Anthony Davis as questionable, so don't want to dive too deep into that one, as well as some of these other games with some big names as questionable. So won't dive too deep into them, and I think we'll go ahead and call it a day after that, my friends. Got some good action going on tonight. A couple things that I am definitely playing, a few things that I'm leaning towards, but I'm going to be playing Miami Heat over on their team total and the Houston Cougars in college basketball ranks under their team total of 67.5. So hope you all have a very good evening. Going to be back all week long, it sounds like, here on the CSI Airwaves. My friends, plenty of different shows. I know Jeff's gearing up for a big couple of weeks, potentially on Sports Map Radio, on Super Bowl Radio Row, potentially there. So obviously want to stay tuned for everything that we've got coming out this week and next week, obviously, with the Super Bowl coming around. So going to be a great couple of weeks, and then before you know it, we're going to have some March Madness action that will be very, very deep into coverage for that stuff there. So if you haven't already, go ahead and download and go follow them on social media. Go download their app, the WagerWire app. Give you many more resources to use and to choose from and to pick from to give yourself some more options, more favorable options, more cash-out options, more sellable options, more buying options within this world of sports gambling here. So definitely go and check them out and download their app. They're great people. If you need some questions, go ahead. Do not hesitate to go on over to their pages and ask them some questions. They're great people, and they'll ask them for you. So answer them for you. So definitely go and check them out. They have been great partners so far with us here at the ECSI Airwaves, so we cannot thank them enough, and you should definitely go check them out. So without further ado, I will go ahead and get on out of here. Good luck on anything that you got going on here tonight in Monday basketball or anywhere else, obviously. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all for stopping by today on this fine Monday afternoon.